Ladies and gentlemen, listen up. If you're here for some kind of feel-good speech, you can leave right now. This is not for the weak. This is for those of you who are tired of the excuses, tired of being soft, tired of looking for a shortcut to success. You see, life doesn't give you anything easy. It doesn't care about your feelings, your fears, or your comfort zone. Life doesn't owe you a thing. The sooner you realize that, the sooner you'll start to grow. Now let's get down to business. First, you need to understand that discipline is what's going to get you to the top, not motivation. Motivation comes and goes. You wake up one day fired up, ready to conquer the world, and the next you're sluggish, wanting to hit snooze and ignore your goals. Motivation is fickle, it's unreliable. Discipline, that's your backbone. That's what will make you show up when you don't feel like it, when it's cold, when it's uncomfortable, when everyone else is quitting. Discipline doesn't care about how you feel. It cares about results. If you want to win, you have to be disciplined enough to do what needs to be done, even when the fire in your belly starts to die down. So stop waiting for motivation to hit you like a freight train. Get up, get moving, and make discipline your foundation. Second, stop running from pain. I'll tell you this right now, growth comes from suffering. If you're avoiding pain, you're avoiding growth. No one, and I mean no one who has achieved greatness did so without facing hard times. Life isn't going to throw you softballs, it will throw you curveballs, it will knock you down, and it will break you if you let it. But guess what? That's the only way you get stronger. When the pain hits, don't look for the exit, don't look for comfort, look for the lesson. You will not grow without pushing past your limits. It's time to stop crying, stop making excuses, and start embracing the struggle. The only thing worse than facing pain is wasting your potential by avoiding it. Face it, grow through it, and become the person who thrives under pressure. Third, there's no room for excuses in this game. You have 1,000 excuses for why you haven't made it yet, but guess what? Nobody cares. You think the world is waiting for your excuses? No, it's not. It's waiting for you to show up and prove that you can handle what's thrown at you. Everyone has a tough story. Everyone has reasons why they can't make it. But here's the truth, your excuses don't matter. Your results do. You want to be successful? Then stop making excuses about why you can't and start taking action to make it happen. The world doesn't care about your reasons. It only cares about your results. Fourth, you need to raise your standards. Let me be clear, if you're not where you want to be, it's because your standards aren't high enough. You've been settling for mediocrity, for playing small. The average person has average expectations, and guess what happens when you live at that level? You get average results. But you don't want average, do you? You want greatness. So stop looking for shortcuts. Stop hanging around people who accept mediocrity. If you want to change, you need to demand more from yourself. The best don't do what's easy, they do what's necessary. And that means setting standards that others can't even comprehend. If you want greatness, you need to act like it demanded of yourself and everyone around you. Finally, take full responsibility for your life. Here's the thing, you are where you are because of the choices you've made. Stop blaming your past, stop blaming your past, stop blaming your circumstances, and stop blaming other people. You are the reason you're stuck. If you want out, you're the only one who can change it. This is your life and you have the power to shape it. Take full responsibility for your success and your failures. Stop waiting for someone else to fix things for you. You're in control. If you want a different outcome, you have to make different decisions. It's time to stop playing the victim and start being the victor of your own story. You want to be hard? Then stop complaining. You want to be hard? Then stop seeking comfort. You want to be hard? Then put in the work every single day. The world doesn't owe you a thing. It's time to rise up and take what's yours. The only question is, will you? Discipline over motivation. This is where the winners are made. Motivation is a fleeting moment, a spark that ignites your fire but quickly fades away. You feel good in the moment, ready to take on the world, but that energy doesn't last. It burns bright for a second, then it's gone, and you're left struggling to find that same drive. That's why motivation is overrated. You cannot rely on it to carry you through the grind, because let's be honest, most days you're not going to feel like it. The grind isn't sexy. The work isn't glamorous. But what separates the successful from the unsuccessful is the ability to show up when there's no applause, when no one's watching, and when you feel like quitting. Motivation will come and go based on your mood, your environment, or what's happening around you. It's an emotion, and emotions are unstable. One day you're fired up, and the next day you're drained and defeated. Motivation is like a shot of adrenaline. It gets you moving in the short term, but it doesn't have the staying power to sustain long-term success. The key to pushing through those moments when motivation is nowhere to be found is discipline. Discipline is your daily commitment to the work, regardless of how you feel. It's doing what needs to be done, even when you'd rather do anything but. Discipline is the thing that will keep you consistent. It's what makes you show up when you don't want to. It's the driving force that compels you to get out of bed at 5 a.m. when the world is still asleep. It's the mental fortitude that pushes you to work when your body wants to quit. While motivation might have you fired up for a few hours or a few days, discipline will carry you through weeks, months, and even years. You don't need motivation to make progress, you need discipline. You need the willpower to keep going when things get tough, when you face setbacks, when you lose belief in yourself. You need the strength to do what others won't do, even when there's no external reward or praise. Discipline is what makes you put in the work when no one's applauding. It's easy to work hard when everything's going your way, when your goals are within reach, and when you feel unstoppable. But the real test comes when you're faced with obstacles, when the road gets hard, and when the progress is slow. That's when discipline is the only thing that will see you through. When the world tells you it's okay to take a break, when your mind tells you to stop, when the excuses start to creep in, discipline slaps you in the face and says, get up and keep going, and you do. The reason so many people fail is because they're constantly searching for the next burst of motivation, waiting for that magical moment when they feel ready to take action. But the truth is, you're never going to feel ready. You're never going to feel 100% motivated all the time. That's a myth. If you want success, you can't afford to wait for motivation to show up. You have to create your own momentum, and you do that by being disciplined enough to take action every single day, even when you don't feel like it. The power of discipline is that it transforms you into someone who doesn't rely on external factors to determine your success. You stop looking for excuses, you stop waiting for the right time, and you stop hoping for a breakthrough. Instead, you make your own breakthrough every single day with the decisions you make, the effort you put in, and the discipline you demonstrate. It's easy to get distracted, easy to get more quit, easy to procrastinate. But if you commit to your discipline, it becomes second nature. You don't have to think about it, you just do it. Day after day, month after month, year after year. The truly successful aren't the ones who feel motivated all the time. They're the ones who make discipline a non-negotiable part of their daily routine. It's no longer a choice, it's just who they are. They don't wait for motivation to show up, they create their own by doing the work even when it's hard. They do what they said they were going to do, no matter how they feel, because they understand that success doesn't come from inspiration, it comes from consistency. Discipline is the muscle you build by doing the things that you don't feel like doing, by showing up when you'd rather stay home, by continuing to put in the work when you'd rather take the easy way out. So forget about waiting for motivation. Stop using the excuse that you're not feeling it today. Discipline is the path to greatness, and it's the one thing you can control. Make discipline your new standard, your unwavering commitment to the process. Let it be the force that drives you when everything else fails. Because when motivation fades, discipline will still be standing. And that's what will take you to the top. When you look at pain, what do you see? Most people see it as something to avoid, something to escape, something that shouldn't happen. But let me tell you something, pain is not your enemy. Pain is your teacher. Pain is your guide. Pain is the crucible in which your strength is forged, and without it, you would remain soft, weak, and untested. You want to grow. You want to evolve into something better, stronger, and unbreakable. Then you better learn to embrace pain, because it is through pain that you will find your true power. I know you want comfort. I know you like a life where things fall into place without struggle. But I'm telling you right now, that is a lie. If you think you can grow without experiencing hardship, if you believe you can achieve greatness without facing adversity, then you're lying to yourself. Every single person you admire, every person who's made a mark on this world has faced pain. And they didn't run from it. They ran toward it because they understood one thing: growth only happens on the other side of suffering. Pain comes in many forms. It's the feeling of your muscles burning after you've pushed them past their limits. It's the exhaustion that hits you after you've spent hours on something that's not paying off yet. It's the heartbreak when things don't go as planned, when you've poured everything into something and it falls apart right in front of your eyes. It's the loneliness that creeps in when no one understands your journey and you feel like giving up. And yet, in each of those moments, pain is preparing you. It's sharpening you, honing you, teaching you the lessons you need to learn to succeed. Without pain, there's no resilience. Without pain, there's no progress. If you avoid pain, you avoid growth. You think you can get better by staying comfortable? No, you're just staying the same. The only way to break the cycle of mediocrity is to step into discomfort, to push yourself harder than you ever thought possible, to face the challenges that life throws at you and say, bring it on. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment when everything aligns and everything is easy. No, the true moment of growth comes when you decide to stand tall in the face of adversity, when you decide that you will not let anything break you. This is why the most successful people in the world have failed the most. They didn't quit when they hit a wall. They didn't give up when they got knocked down. They embraced the pain because they understood that it was part of the process. Failure isn't final, it's a lesson, it's a stepping stone. Every setback is an opportunity to learn, to grow, to push harder. If you don't experience failure, you don't learn what you're truly capable of. If you don't experience pain, you won't discover your true strength. Look at the greatest athletes, the top performers in every field. What sets them apart? It's not talent. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's their ability to endure pain, to keep pushing when others quit, to keep grinding when the world tells them to rest. They've conditioned themselves to see pain not as a barrier, but as a bridge. They know that the pain they endure today will pay off tomorrow. It's the sacrifice they make today that builds the foundation for tomorrow's success. Every rep, every set, every drop of sweat, every sleepless night, it all adds up. And eventually, when others are too soft, too scared to take the next step, you'll be the one who stands firm, who rises above, because you've embraced the pain and made it your ally. Pain is a signal that you're on the right track. It means you're doing something that matters. It means you're doing something that's pushing you out of your comfort zone. It means you're evolving, growing, expanding. Without pain, you stay stuck in the same place, stagnating, dying inside. So I say again, embrace the pain. Step into it, run toward it. and know that every ounce of discomfort you experience is an investment in the person you're becoming. Pain will transform you. It will mold you. It will make you hard, unbreakable, unstoppable. And when the world sees you, they won't see someone who ran from the challenge, who quit when it got tough. They'll see someone who faced it head on, who took the hits, who kept going, and who came out stronger than ever before. There's no room for excuses. If you want to be successful, if you want to make something of yourself, if you want to break through the barriers holding you back, you have to have zero tolerance for excuses. I don't care where you come from, what you've been through, or how hard your life has been. None of that matters if you continue to make excuses. We all have struggles. We all have reasons why things are tough. But here's the truth you need to hear: your excuses don't matter. Your excuses are nothing more than distractions. And they will be the very thing that keeps you from reaching your potential. People love their excuses. They're easy, they're comfortable. They give you a reason to justify why you didn't do what you said you would, why you didn't take that step forward. You'll hear it every day: I'm too busy. I don't have the right resources. I don't have enough time. The economy's bad. This happened. That happened, you name it. There's always an excuse. But the reality is that these excuses are not real obstacles. They are stories you tell yourself to avoid the hard work, to avoid the discomfort, to avoid the grind. Think about the people who have achieved the most. They didn't get there because they had perfect conditions. They didn't have the best timing or a flawless path laid out for them. No, they got there because they didn't make excuses. They didn't sit around waiting for things to be easy. They didn't complain about what they didn't have or blame their situation. They just got to work. They took responsibility for their circumstances and found a way to make it happen, no matter how tough it got. They understood that their success wasn't dependent on the perfect situation. It was about their ability to push forward no matter what life threw at them. You don't have the luxury of sitting back and waiting for things to align. If you do, you'll be waiting forever. The truth is, no one is going to hand you anything. The world doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care about your sob story. It doesn't care about why you're not ready, why you don't feel like it, or why the timing isn't right. The world will give you what you demand of it, but you have to take it. You have to show up and prove to yourself first and foremost that you are willing to fight for it, even when it's hard, even when it's inconvenient, even when the excuses start creeping in. The moment you stop making excuses, the moment you decide that you're going to stop letting life dictate your actions, that's when everything changes. It's in that moment when you take control. The world is full of people who will tell you why it's impossible. They will tell you why it can't be done. They will tell you all the reasons why you should lower your expectations and stop reaching for greatness. But here's the thing: they're not the ones who will decide your future. You are. And if you're still making excuses, you're choosing to let those voices, those outside influences, control your life. Excuses are for the weak. They are for those who want to stay stuck in the same place year after year, complaining about what they don't have, instead of taking action to make something of themselves. If you want greatness, you have to get rid of every excuse that comes your way and replace it with relentless determination. You have to wake up every single day knowing that you will do what others won't do, that you will push through when others quit, that you will take control of your own destiny. And don't you dare let anyone around you feed you the lie that it's okay to take shortcuts, that it's okay to make excuses. These are the same people who will never achieve what they want in life. These are the people who will always wonder why things never worked out for them. They will blame the system, blame their circumstances, blame everyone but themselves. Don't let that be you. You're better than that. You're stronger than that. You are capable of so much more than you realize, but you'll never see it if you continue to make excuses. So the next time an excuse starts to form in your mind, shut it down immediately. The next time you feel yourself slipping into the comfort of saying, I can't, or I don't have time, or I'm not ready, push past it. Your success is too important to let those excuses win. You are too important to let them control you. Stand up, face whatever challenge is in front of you, and go after it with everything you've got. Because when you stop making excuses, when you start taking full ownership of your life, that's when you'll see just how unstoppable you really are. You need to set standards for yourself that others cannot even fathom. The world around you will constantly try to lower your expectations, tell you that it's okay to play it safe, and that you should lower your sights so you don't get disappointed. But that's not the game we're playing here. You're not here to settle. You're not here to live in the mediocrity that most people are comfortable in. You're here to rise, to elevate, to build something that leaves a legacy. You cannot build something great if your standards are anything less than extraordinary. You want to be great? You need to set standards that are so high, so demanding, that the average person will never even understand how you got there. But that's the point. Average is not enough. You cannot afford to play by their rules, live by their standards, or let their limitations become yours. The moment you decide to stop settling is the moment your life will start to change. If you keep playing small, the world will keep you small. If you expect little, you will get little. If you think it's enough to just get by, then that's exactly what you'll do, just get by. But when you decide to set your sights higher, when you raise your expectations to a level that others can't even comprehend, you are stepping into a different league. You're playing by different rules. You're demanding more from yourself than anyone else ever could. And let me tell you, the results will follow. They might not come immediately and they might not come easily, but they will come. You are capable of so much more than you're currently allowing yourself to believe. You are worth more than the scraps you've been settling for. It's time to raise your standards in every area of your life, your career, your health, your relationships, your finances. Don't wait for someone else to raise the bar for you. Set it yourself and then force yourself to meet it every single day. Your standards should be so high that they make you uncomfortable, that they force you to grow, that they push you beyond your limits. Comfort never got anyone anywhere. Growth is uncomfortable. It demands that you reach beyond what you think is possible. And that's exactly what you need to do. When you set high standards, you're not just aiming for success, you're aiming for excellence. Excellence isn't an accident. It's the result of consistently demanding the best from yourself every single day. You can't be satisfied with mediocrity and expect greatness to show up. You cannot expect to achieve extraordinary things with ordinary effort. If you want extraordinary results, you have to make extraordinary commitments. No one ever changed the world by doing what everyone else was doing. The world changes because one person decides to do what others are unwilling to do. That person is you. And that person needs to have standards so high that no one can challenge their ability to rise to the occasion. But here's the truth: when you set higher standards for yourself, you'll start to find that the people around you can't keep up. That's the hard part. People are comfortable with the way things are. They're comfortable with their own limitations. When you raise the bar, some of them will try to drag you back down to their level. Some will tell you that you're being unrealistic, that you're expecting too much from yourself. But they're wrong. They're the ones limiting themselves, and if you listen to them, you'll limit yourself too. Keep pushing, keep demanding more from yourself, keep striving for excellence, because the higher your standards, the further you will go. The more you push, the greater the rewards. And when you hit those goals that you once thought were impossible, you'll realize that setting high standards was the best decision you ever made. Don't be afraid of the people who question you. Don't be afraid of the ones who tell you that your dreams are too big or that you're aiming too high. They're not the ones who will walk in your shoes, face your battles, or experience your victories. You are. And your standards should be set with that in mind. You are the only one who can push yourself to greatness. You are the only one who can demand more of yourself than anyone else ever will. And when you do, you'll start to see doors open that you never thought possible. You'll start to experience success on a level that others will envy, and they won't even understand how you got there. But you'll know that you got there by refusing to settle, by refusing to accept anything less than the best. You'll know that you got there because you decided one day to raise your standards and make them non-negotiable. And when you do that, when you stop playing it safe, when you stop accepting mediocrity, you start playing the game on your terms. And that's where the real magic happens. That's where success is born. So let me leave you with this. The world will never hand you success on a silver platter. It won't give you the life you want just because you ask for it. But what it will do is respond to the energy you put out, respond to the standards you set for yourself. If you want to rise to the top, you need to set the bar higher than you've ever set it before. You need to demand excellence from yourself. Refuse to settle for mediocrity and never back down from the discomfort of growth. It's time to stop playing small. It's time to stop thinking that your dreams are too big or that you don't deserve them. You do. But only if you raise your expectations and start taking massive action to meet them. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for things to be easy. Set your standards high and don't let anyone or anything lower them. Your future is built on the choices you make today. So go out there, set those high standards, and never back down. You are capable of greatness. You are capable of achieving things others only dream of, but only if you decide that your standards will never be compromised. Now, go make it happen.